I do like this.
Hello there, my name is Holly, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is the first time here. Now, I haven't been very good about posting lately. That seems to be a theme for my channel anyway, but you know, this summer was wicked busy, working on a lot of different things, doing a lot of different things. Throughout this video, I'll show you a little bit of what I've been doing all summer as to why I've hardly posted. I've had plenty of stuff to film. I just am not very good about doing that, and then I'm not very good about actually putting together a video to post. But anyway, you know, every once in a while I pump one out, so here you go. Back in the winter and early spring, I was on the kick of making a whole bunch of items that I would be using for backpacking. I think I've already posted a couple of those. I've posted the emergency sling harness I made for Wiggles, my dog. I posted the bag I made for my recording setup for when I'm backpacking and hiking. And I don't know, there might have been another one. I know I've made other things. I just don't remember what I've done for videos. But this video is about the art bag I made, watercolor kit art bag. And again, this is for hiking or backpacking. Oh, mosquitoes. And right now it has a lot of stuff in it, and it's really too heavy for backpacking. But the bag itself is extremely lightweight. It's made from very lightweight, waterproof material. So I can slim the contents down by quite a significant amount and still keep everything in here, and it'll just, you know, scrunch down and fit in my backpack pretty well. So this video is all about the steps I did to make this bag. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave comments down below or down in the description. There's my email addresses listed. But right now, let's just get to it. First, I sketched out what I wanted, then decided on the dimensions, and then I lined out the pieces I would need on 2.2 ounce HEX70XL PU3000 DWR from Ripstop by the roll in charcoal gray. It has a urethane coating on the back, making it highly waterproof. After cutting out all of the pieces, I then seared all the edges with a hot knife and marked all the pieces with a bit of sticky note so I'd know which piece was for what. The first piece I started on was a zippered top for the inside bottom pocket. I rolled the edges and sewed each half of the zipper onto each piece. Next was the zippered top for the top of the bag. Again, rolled the edges and sewed each half of the zipper onto each piece. Late spring meant some cleanup of broken trees from winter storms, including cutting a few down. The back half of the bag was to be used for a small clipboard and a watercolor sketchbook, but I also wanted two small slip pockets to be able to put thin things in, like a color swatch or viewfinder. So I first rolled the top edge of each of the slip pockets. Then I clipped pleats on both sides so I could put thicker things in if I wanted to. Because the material is so lightweight, I wanted to use the strap to give it some structure on the bottom and sides of the bag. I sewed the strapping down the middle of the sides and bottom piece of material, leaving about 3 inches at each end of the material where the strapping was not sewn to the material. On one end, the strapping only hung over the end of the material by a few inches, and it had one side of the buckle attached. For now, I just left all the webbing coiled up and wrapped in a rubber band so it was out of my way. I finally installed the French door in the great room. Next, using the divider piece that would separate the front part of the bag from the back part, I laid out the tools I would most likely use and pinned elastic to the back between each tool. I removed the tools and marked where the pins were before removing the pins. Then I sewed the elastic to the divider. I also sewed a rolled edge at the top of the divider. I laid down new flooring in the great room. I sewed a small fold-over hem on each side of the zippered top for the inside bottom pocket. I sewed one side of the zippered top to the divider. Then I sewed the other side of the zippered top to the inside front of the bag. Here's what it looks like from the other side. I made lots of various dehydrated meals for backpacking, from lasagna to Moroccan stew to miso soup. I sewed a small fold-over hem on the top and bottom of what will be the flap over one of the inside slip pockets. Next was sewing down the side pleats for the two inside slip pockets. I did this by sewing a small fold-over hem on the bottom of each slip pocket, sewing the pleats in place. It was time to sew the slip pockets to the back side of the divider piece. First, I sewed them in place along each side of the divider piece and along the bottom of each pocket. Then I sewed the bottom slip pocket flap onto the divider above the pocket. I wanted the bottom pocket to have this flap over it, so that when I put my clipboard or sketchboard into the tall back section of the bag, it wouldn't catch on the slip pocket. Next, I did a small fold-over seam all around the front and back pieces. I also did a small fold-over seam all around the sides and bottom piece. I tested both my new firebox and some of my backpacking meals, like this lasagna and a biscuit. Now came the tricky part, sewing the front, divider, and back pieces to the side's bottom piece. I sewed the divider section on first, making sure that I had it in the place I wanted in relation to where the front and the back pieces would go. The front half of the bag would be a bit deeper than the back half, so I sewed the divider right next to one side of the webbing. Here is the other side of the divider sewn to one side. You have to be careful with the zipper top of the bottom pocket. You don't want to accidentally sew it into the side seams. Here is the divider sewn all the way around the side's bottom piece. And this is the other side of the divider. Next, I sewed the back piece on, again being careful not to catch the zippered top of the inside pocket. Next, I sewed the other end of the buckle to the other end of the webbing, including a tension lock so I can adjust the length of the carry strap. I wanted it to be long enough to be used crossbody, but I also wanted it to be able to shorten it enough to use it around my waist. Here is a close-up of the strap ends, buckle, and tension lock. By the way, people often use an X to sew strapping, but the better way is to sew several parallel lines, as you can see on the buckle end here. I went on a few hikes, a few overnight camping trips, and I went on a 5-day backpacking trip. Finally, I started clipping the front piece to the side's bottom piece. I also wanted to incorporate a mesh pocket on the front that I could use for wet paper towels or a wet rag after I was done painting, so they wouldn't have to go inside my bag. Here it is all clipped together, ready to sew. And ta-da! The front is sewn on. Now it was time for the zippered top to go on. I took 2 scrap pieces of the hex to make tab ends for each end of the zipper. I sewed a small fold-over hems on both sides of each of these scrap pieces. Then I folded each in half, right sides together, seamed edges together, and sewed each end. Then turn them all right side out. Don't forget to sew a small fold-over hems along each side of the zipper top. Then stick the 2 tab ends on each end of the zipper top and sew them in place. I clipped one edge of the zipper top to the back piece of the bag, centering them. There is about 1.5 to 2 inches of the zipper top that extends beyond each side. Sew the zipper top to the back. With the zipper open, turn the zipper top inside out. Then you can sew the zipper top to the front piece. Turn the zipper top right side out again. Now you can be finished here, nothing more needs to be done, but I wanted a second cover over the zipper top as an added protection from rain and the elements. I sewed the front and back top pieces to the top side piece along each long side. Then I folded the sides to meet the side ends of the front and back pieces and clipped them in place. Sew these 4 short seams and turn it all right side out. Using a small bungee cord and a 2-hole bean cord lock, I hemmed the bungee cord into a hem all the way around the bottom of the top cover. One of the main things I've been working on is renovating this old pop-up camper I bought. Finally, I sewed the back bottom edge of the top cover, the side opposite where the bungee and cord lock is located, to the back piece of the bag. The sides of the top cover should come down over the bag to just above where the webbing is attached to the sides of the bag. Here is the back of the finished bag. And the front. and the front again in its vertical position. I have several small watercolor travel palettes, but I had a new one that I hadn't yet filled with paint. So I decided this new bag needed a new palette. I did several color swatches trying to decide which 22 colors, yeah I know that's way more than I need, that I wanted to put in this palette. Once I decided on the colors, I filled the pans and let them dry overnight. I used 3M foam double-sided tape to stick the pans into the palette. And here's the finished palette. I stuck a couple of feather stickers and a Jolly Gear sticker on the lid. I know 22 colors is a bit much for what should be a small travel palette, but there are an amazing number of colors I can create with this palette, many of which will be very useful for watercolor sketches in nature. The back section of the bag will hold a clipboard and a landscape watercolor sketchbook. The small portrait sketchbook will go in the front section of the bag, along with the palette. The slip pockets in the back section will hold a roll of double-sided tape, a viewfinder, and 2 Capri Sun pouches I use for water. The inside bottom zipper pocket is great for all sorts of little things, most of which I don't have to get to very often. Mini scissors, Mr. Bottle, extra pencil lead, extra permanent ink cartridge, a small container of white gouache, a funny little tooth container with some kneaded eraser, a mini bottle of masking fluid, and a glue stick. For the elastic section that will hold all of my tools, a Uniball fine-tipped pen, a silver and gold gel pen, a white Jelly Roll pen, a mechanical pencil, a Tombow fine eraser pen, a Pentel Click eraser pen, a preppy fountain pen with permanent black ink, a small silicone brush for masking fluid, 2 binder clips, and 6 watercolor travel brushes. Here is a close-up of the brushes, top to bottom, size 12, 8, 4, 2, another 2, and a really small brush. It's probably a 1 or a 0. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the steps for making this. Like I said, again, just leave a comment down below if you have any questions. And thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.